So as far as transits go for this week, I'm checking the time here so I know when to clip this video. Okay. So the transits for this week, starting Monday, October. I keep writing September in my journal, by the way. That's where I'm at. Welcome you guys if you're joining the live. I am going to be talking about the upcoming astrological forecast for the week ahead. If you can't stay for the whole live stream, I do write all of this out for my newsletter, which is totally free. You can sign up. It's linked in my bio. So Monday, October 6th, Mercury is moving into Scorpio. Mercury moves into Scorpio pretty early in the morning. Ooh, ow, I just got like a sharp pain in my heart. Who's having trouble with it? Who's scared of Mercury in Scorpio? Who is it? Who? Oh, it's rude to point, sorry. Thanks for the follow, Kim. I appreciate it. And I do appreciate all the likes that I get on TikTok because when you guys like the live, it actually pushes this content out, thank you, to other people who might enjoy it as well. You're afraid of it? Rough. Later in the evening on a Monday, October 6th, we have our full moon in Aries, which is like why I have this on my screen. I'm going to be doing a live gathering, so if you haven't signed up for it, definitely sign up. Yeah, I'm really excited for that. That's gonna be a ton of fun, and it's gonna be nice to give some deeper guidance with it. Hi, Sabrina. On Tuesday, September 7th, Mercury is going to square Pluto. So right as Mercury enters Scorpio, we're going to be feeling this. We also have a pretty wild yod that is happening on the 6th, which I go more in depth about on my Aries full moon video. So if you haven't watched that, definitely check that out on YouTube. On Wednesday, the 8th, Venus is going to sextile Jupiter. Nice. I got burps. Ugh. And then Saturday, Venus is going to oppose Saturn. Fun. And and that's it as far as like direct stuff. Something I do want to talk about that's happened the last couple days. Just a little rewind. I thought that looked like a bruise. I know I have a bruise on this arm. You can't really tell, but it's right there. We've had Venus conjunct the South Node like this weekend, and basically it's been like a really tender moment of our perfectionistic qualities within the space that we're really comfortable in. It's been like kind of bringing up, it's like looking at the dust bunnies in the closet and like clearing out, like you're needing to clear out the closet, but you're focused on the like little small intricate details versus like, you know, realizing that you need to like actually step outside of the closet. So yeah, and by stepping outside of the closet, I mean leaning into the North Node in Pisces. Sorry if my language is applying specifically to people. That was not intentional. But North Node in Pisces is really just leaning into let go and let God sort of energy. Yeah, so that's been present. That's something I've been thinking about, and I was bummed that I didn't talk about it in the last one, but it must have been for a reason, because sometimes the reason I do my live streams every week versus like monthly forecasts is I don't want to prescribe people to a sort of narrative and then they just run with whatever I say. What I'm saying, and whenever I'm live streaming and talking about these transits, these are all opportunities. Now, they may not directly apply to you. Hello, Stormy. But they also might apply to people in your personal life or whatnot. I don't really like when people just like grab the astrology and they're like, this is like what's gonna happen, end of the world, the rapture, it's here. No, come on, guys. It's just sort of, we're being able to feel some of these things, and it's just more knowledge and just understanding of like, oh yeah, this is happening, I get to move through this. Hi, Leo. Welcome, Stormy. I saw your share in the Discord server, and since I was out, I didn't get to respond, but I am so, so proud of you, and that was such a beautiful share, especially talking about Venus conjunct the South Node. Like, that was a very, very, like, beautiful share that you did, and I'm not going to disclose any of that here. I just want to acknowledge you while I have your attention right now. Can you guys hear the woodpeckers? They're wild. They're like screaming at each other. So let me go have a chat with them. Hey. Like 3 of them were like, oh shit. So fun stuff. Okay. I love them, and they're the red crested ones. No, I don't want to let them in. Absolutely not. Oh, they're stinky. Stinky guys. Yeah, peckerheads, that's so funny. Okay, let's go ahead and share my screen. I'm gonna transition here to this screen, and then on TikTok, you guys don't get a cool transition, but you can still see this. Let me adjust this a little bit more. Let me see if I can crop this a bit more. No? Well, that just kind of ruined it. I just want you guys to be able to see this. Hold, please. I just don't want you... Whatever. I just wanted it to fit more. But this'll have to do. Whatever. Okay. My face is like right by the text. Yeah, we'll put this here. I don't know. That was fine. Whatever. I get all freaking perfectionistic. Okay, so let's get talking about this stuff. If I go ahead and grab this guy here, we'll be able to draw on my screen. So on Monday the 6th, we have Mercury right here. Mercury's this cute little guy, moved into Scorpio, or is moving into Scorpio. And Mercury, I've been really speaking to this experience that Mercury is paving the way for the sun. The sun is currently about 16 degrees behind the sun. Mercury's moving pretty quick. And so it's almost as though our mental space is a couple steps ahead of our actual like tangible reality. It's like mind versus ego, and I know some of you might be like, well, ego is like there too, isn't it? And kind of. I'm more thinking in terms of like actually acting and embodying in confidence this energy. And so with Mercury moving into Scorpio, it brings in a whole different layer of texture to this Libra season. This is bringing in deep communication. This is bringing in the ability to tap into the unspeakable. Scorpio likes to bring up the depths, likes to bring up this sort of crunchy things to allow it to have form. I just saw like in my mind's eye like a graveyard and like a zombie hand like reaching up. It really brings in this life to the dead, which feels very present as we're moving closer to Halloween or Samhain. Yeah, I'm really feeling that witchy energy, which is it's been a while since I've really tapped into that sort of a more of the witch's calendar. I don't know, maybe, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, so Mercury is our planet of communication. It's how we move thought into form, and say things. And this is deeply emotionally charged. This is like, yeah, Crunchy's one of my favorite ones. Mercury and Scorpio bringing up unmentionable makes me think of Epstein files. Yes, literally. My brother just shared a video about that too. Yeah, no, seriously, like literally bringing shit to light. And this full moon, okay, so if you didn't watch my full moon video, There is some, like, we have, let me just draw this out for y'all real quick. We have a yod happening to Mercury, which is gonna be very interesting. So yods are really weird configurations. So these are quincunx, which is 150 degrees going from here, but then these guys are sextiling each other. And so these are, so we're about to get really freaking welcome for those of you who are joining. We're talking about the transits for the week ahead. We're about to get really, this might be out of some people's depths, but I'm going to talk about it so you guys can ask me questions. So this line and this line, they are 150 degrees. So actually I'm going to do this and just click on Mercury. You'll be able to see the aspects Mercury's making. So a lot of conversational things are happening with Mercury. I wouldn't take into note this opposition to Chiron. We just were experiencing that. I wrote that in my previous newsletter, and in my live stream I talked about that. But we can see that Mercury's making a lot of aspects here. So these blue lines right here are called what are they, quincunx or inconjuncts, and so they're really weird. They're weird in the way that the conversations that they have are just kind of like, they're different signs, different modalities. They don't really communicate well. They're having a conversation, but it's almost like one person's talking to the wall and the other person is like, it's like when you, if you've ever had this experience when somebody's like talking to you, but they're walking away and you're like, I literally can't hear you because you're walking away from me. The sound's moving forward. It's like this weird Mercury, and I'm bringing in communication aspects because we're talking about Mercury here. And so a yod forms because these guys are creating a sextile as well. So this creates this triangle, and I wish I could make this like transparent, but makes this. And so a lot of people will hear about yods in astrology and they're like, oh, the finger of God, which that's what the placement's coined as, because this is like one of those really uncomfortable configurations that push you to do something, that push you to actually like do the thing, whatever these ones are pointing at, because Neptune in Aries. Hi, Shakira. Welcome. I know I'm streaming a little bit later, which is totally fine. I kind of like it. I'm enjoying this thus far. So Neptune in Aries. So Aries is a cardinal sign, fire sign. Then we have Gemini, which is a mutable sign and air. And then we have Scorpio, which is a fixed water sign. So they're all different pieces, and so one of them is going to kind of overpower. And so if we look at the players here, we have Neptune in Aries, 0 degrees. Neptune has been dissolving our sense of identity big time. This again is a generational planet, so it's more collective. We kind of see like reconfigurations happening collectively. Then Neptune, not Neptune, Uranus. Did I just make a duck sound? Oh, okay. Uranus is in Gemini. And Gemini is all about the mental processes and our thought processes. And Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, which is ruled by Gemini. And so there's this like really, really like big sort of mental uploads we've been getting. And these two are both retrograde. So a lot of these processes have been turned internal, so they're more internal. Oh, I see 777 on the likes. Thank you for those of you who are double tapping the screen. It pushes the content out to other people who may enjoy it, so I appreciate it. So these two are retrograde, so it's more of an internal process, and now they are both making this inconjunct to Mercury. So it makes this thing. So Neptune and Uranus are having a fine conversation, but then Mercury shows up and it's almost like catching other people talking about you. And you're like, hey guys, what are you talking about? And they were like, And the thing about Mercury is Mercury knows things. And so Mercury's like, wants to like investigate and wants this, it's like, well, just say it for everybody. And so there's this energy here that is just super like wanting to be pushed forward. the sort of catalyst of this, if you have anything at 0 degrees of Taurus, this is going to be really fun for you. I have something at 0 degrees Taurus. So anyways, so this is happening on Monday. That's a lot of information. I cover it more in depth on my live stream recap. Nope, not live stream recap. I'm just saying words at this point now. My Aries full moon video, because additionally on the 6th we have this full moon in Aries, which I'm not going to like I'm not gonna go too deep into, because I did a full video on it. I want this to be hours, because I want this to be the direct opposition. So the interesting thing about this full moon is it's the first full moon in Aries in the last about 2 years that we've had that is now outside of the eclipse, outside of the nodes. So the nodes have been in Libra and Aries. They shifted signs at the end of last year, but they had been in Aries and Libra. So we had a lot of focus on the axis of self versus relationship. And the North Node was in Aries, which was really pushing people to be their authentic self, and now it's in Pisces. So this is kind of like a full moon that is an opportunity for you to fully embrace your authentic expression. It's really, really powerful. It really is like saying like, hey, like, who are you? And just be about it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, things can be messy and it's okay too. Right? So there is that. Again, I have a full video on the full moon, and additionally, for those of you who are joining me on either live stream that's happening here, I am hosting a full moon circle tomorrow, actually like right before the full moon reaches its peak illumination. I'm going to be guiding, it's going to be women. I think most of my list is women, so we'll keep it contained in that, or people who are womb bearers or resonate more with that feminine energy. It's not specifically structured in that way, but I've noticed that it's mostly geared towards a bit more of that softer, intuitive nature. So there's we're going to be talking a little bit more in depth about this full moon. We're going to be diving into a vision journey. I'm going to guide you guys through it's very channeled. I can't say what it's going to be about because I'll be tapped into the energy and talking about it. And then we will close with some journaling and reflections, and I'm really excited. This is the first one that we're doing, and there's hopefully going to be more to come. So, hi, I see my brother. Yeah, maybe solar punker. It's funny. I know it says art, but I read it as punkert. Punkert. I know it's punk art, but my brain's like, oh. Whoa, who put these birds on my head? Oh, that's friggin' sweet. I loved that. That was great. Thank you, Stormy. Hi, brother. I love you. This guy's really cool, by the way. I'm biased, though, because we share the same DNA. 5-degree Taurus Pallas Athena. Ooh, yeah, that would be pretty powerful. It's like a battle, yeah, strategizing. So let's go ahead and jump ahead to Tuesday. So Tuesday, we have Mercury officially squaring, well, Mercury's moving so freaking fast. You can see it's already at 2 degrees, literally within a day, like literally zooming. 66% good DNA. Why choose 66? The heck? Famous. I love it. I love that you knew which brother. Yeah, that's my twin. Famous Pisces rising, bro. Hi. That's the guy. That is the guy. Yeah, he's a homie. He sent me the cutest picture of me and my cat, and then my mom and I were both crying about it. She was wearing his daughter's bonnet. Okay, so on Tuesday, Mercury will directly make that square to Pluto, but we will be feeling it as it comes up. So let me show you what this is doing. So we see this square here. Squares are 90 degrees angles, and I feel like we've been getting more of an understanding of what these mean. I feel like I repeat the same language because I really want it to stick. So squares 90 degrees, they create tension, kind of like tectonic plates pushing up and, you know, creating friction. Something happens. So, you know, with Mercury moving into Scorpio, it's kind of with the square to Pluto, Pluto's kind of like, you know, what isn't authentic. You know, Pluto's been really having us lean into our quirky, authentic self, our radical, weird, unconventional identity, which we all have been shifting into collectively. Like, you know, we all are really looking at society right now and is like, what the hell is going on, right? There's so much changing, and Pluto's a collective planet, so we feel that more on a collective level. So this square here, I mean, kind of leaning on what you said, Solar Punk Art, I really don't make predictions about worldly things, but I could see there being some really interesting stuff happening in the news that regards to hidden things or truths being brought to light, or there being some sort of tension around that, of like, is this actually a truth, or is this more propaganda that's being fed to us? Anyways, that's my 2 cents about more on a global scale. But on a personal scale, feeling this, especially if you're ruled by Mercury, which means you are a Gemini or Virgo rising, you'll be feeling this a little bit more so whenever Mercury's moving around there. You'll be feeling it. Mercury, it's a very interesting thing because Mercury just moved into the home sign of Pluto. And so it's like they have like a secret language here, even though there is tension. It's almost, it kind of feels like it's for show a little bit. It's like, oh yeah, like, because they understand each other because Mercury's in the domain of Aquarius. And yeah, this is interesting. I'm thinking of this in a whole different way than I normally would. So just feeling into this. You guys get to see my live wheels and gears turning. It feels fun. Hi, emotional masochist here. I'm saying a square is fun. I just mean that, like, you're not gonna get away with, like, running from the truth. Yeah, like a dance. I like that. Like, Pluto's not gonna let Mercury run away from the truth. So, but it's like Mercury wants to deliver the truth, but Pluto's like almost bringing a sort of fresher perspective, because Pluto in Aquarius has had us really revolutionizing our structures, our like way that we navigate the world on a broader scale. I've been seeing a lot more, and maybe it's just in my own inner circle, and like my inner circle, the people that are in it are doing a lot of really deep work right now, and really like understanding how their minds work and understanding how things operate on a quantum level. With that Aquarius energy, it brings like, my brain's thinking this is like supercomputer energy, and so this square is really like, can you like allow this to come through in a way that is actually utilizing these new systems that are in place? So that's what that's feeling like here. It's not comfortable. The words aren't going to be perfect or whatever comes out from this, but it does feel like there's that tension of recognizing like where maybe Scorpio is so fucking stubborn. And like what I got this mental image of like somebody just like trying to dig through cement. And like that's Mercury and Scorpio, just like, you know, it's like talking to a brick wall. It's like, it's gonna hear me. It's got to. I'm like right in my convictions. And Pluto and Aquarius is off to the side and is like, what if you just like turned around and like looked and like observed like things instead of like, you know, having to like try to get through some really hard things. Anyways, Whoa, I'm having deja vu. Let's jump to, let's change this. Oh my gosh. There we go. I got the mouse now. Change this back to days. On Wednesday, the 8th, Venus and Jupiter will be sextile. So Venus is at 23 degrees of Virgo and Jupiter is, I thought I was using the line tool, and Jupiter is at 23 degrees of Cancer. Sextiles are harmonious energy flows. It's kind of this fun, cheeky energy, and it's really refreshing actually after Venus has moved over the South Node. It's almost like this letting go of old baggage that happened here. It was like realizing, over this weekend, like I don't have to hold on to these things anymore or these stories, especially around love, because Venus represents love and relationships. Like I don't have to hold on to these old stories. And so this sextile really feels very supportive of like, Jupiter is all about expansion and growth and, allowing things to be felt more deeply and be more deeply nourishing. And Venus and Virgo is like, okay, like what are the next action steps? Virgo is very action oriented and wants to solve things, and it is beautiful. So it's like, what are the steps to take forward, especially because the South Node represents sort of past energy, so it's really pushing us forward. I've been yapping for a second. Y'all keeping up? Like is this it? And then on the 11th, sippy sip. The sun has officially set, so I only have a little bit longer. Then I have to go home. When the street lights turn on, I have to go home. Yeah, sextile. So now jumping ahead to Saturday the 11th, Venus is going to be making an opposition to Saturn. Wah, wah. Let's take a peek at this. This is like early in the morning. This is like 4 a.m. Let's jump back here. Jeez, gosh. Okay, we're here. So Venus is at 26 degrees of Virgo. Saturn is, what the helly? What the? Did they just like swap? Oh, whoa. Crazy. So Saturn shifted back a degree, right? Okay, interesting. I was like, what the? Okay, so they're both at 26 degrees. So no haircuts. I'm not gonna tell you what to do with your hair. I'm definitely gonna be dyeing my hair. Would you guys like a hair dye live stream? Just kidding. Dyeing my hair is actual hell. I get like massive sensory overload with bleach on the top of my head. So oppositions are not fun. They're not fun because it's like this or that kind of energy, and they want to meet in the middle, but it's kind of like when two people think they're right. Love that. So Saturn's at 26 degrees of Pisces, which is really like, especially with the North Node here, Saturn's a little bit more in the right here. I'm not gonna lie. Just bringing that little level in too, because it's like Saturn's with the North Node, and the North Node's like, this is where we want to go. By the way, here's the X on your map. Oh, dude. Well, my mom was a hairstylist, so she taught me all of it. So it's not hard. It's just time consuming to do my own hair. But I hate the feeling of bleach on my head. And even if somebody else did it, I still like lose my mind. Just want to peek over there. Okay. So Saturn in Pisces, Saturn went retrograde during the eclipses and moved back into Pisces during the eclipses, which really had us, I think it's a beautiful gift because of the fact that we're getting this last sort of final foundational push within the Piscean realm, which is so needed because it's almost like this summer we got this taste of like what's coming next, but Saturn going back and all these other what are they called? What are they called, guys? I don't know how to do my job. The outer planets, that's what they're called. The outer planets are all shifting back into their signs except Pluto. Pluto will be staying in Aquarius, by the way. But like Uranus is going to go back into Taurus. Neptune's going to go back into Pisces. So, you know, it's going to be interesting. Now, I keep not talking about the Saturn in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces is sort of this energetic chalice. It kind of makes me think of the cup that, or the chalice that Aquarius bears, because naturally, like within the original astrology, Saturn actually rules over Aquarius, and so like that chalice, that container holding the Piscean water, I see Saturn as this in Pisces. It really is this energetic cup, because without a container for our emotions, for our spiritual practices, for our religious practices, whatever they are for you, you know, I'm not discriminatory towards any religion here, so it's like whatever is for you, whatever that looks like, it's redefining your relationship with your beliefs. That's what's happening with Saturn returning into Pisces. It's really honing in on, you're getting your last chance here. Not to like freak anybody out. Like I know a lot of astrologers will be like, this is the last full moon to manifest your life. Fuck that bullshit. No. But Saturn moving back into Pisces is really this opportunity for us to actually hone in on our craft, hone in on our spiritual discipline. What are you doing to evolve your spirit? What are you doing to evolve your spirit? Daily devotion is what Saturn asks for. Saturn, and it's like, Saturn's like, it doesn't have to look the same each day. It can be something, but like, do something. Don't just hope and wish and, you know, Saturn's really about taking, it's not like taking tangible action, but it's like really, really touching into like really, how do I say this, God? And Pisces is so hard to articulate because it's not in this language. Pisces is a feeling language. And so it's like you can feel the depths of the collective consciousness, but if you are not continuously aware of your own emotional hygiene, you're doing the world a disservice. It's kind of heavy, but Saturn in Pisces is like, do you have the infrastructure for all these things that you want? If you don't, this is the time, especially on the energetic level. Now, Venus is in Virgo. Venus is a little uncomfortable and a little like neurotic in Virgo. She's kind of like, I gotta do all these things. I gotta like make sure I look perfect and like my outfit's like crisp and clean and I look good and I like the house is vacuumed and the counters are clean and, you know, my calendar is, you know. And so this opposition, she's very like, this transit makes me think of how there's been an increase. Yes. Yeah, I agree. Just to iterate for those of you who are watching on TikTok, somebody else on this other platform I'm streaming on said, this transit makes me think of how there's been an increase in spiritual extremism too, like spiritual warfare or sorts of public speakers. Yeah. I've actually seen a lot of people even moving into like, I've seen a lot of people waking up lately too, or just like really removing the blindfold, because a lot of things are being revealed to us on a public stage that it's kind of like, you can't bypass that when it's right in front of you. And when your body is like, something is not right here, you know? And then, so, you know, then the rapture TikTok. No, literally. I mean, it's very interesting to witness. This is like the opportunity, if you're just entering the spiritual space, get curious and let yourself like really evaluate where you sit with things and, you know, what do you want your foundational pieces to be? And this isn't like you have to know right now, but it is this like having daily devotion to exploring it. I like tarot learning my planets. Cool live. Yeah, no, thank you, Nova. I appreciate you stopping by. Astrology is my main language. I actually use, I don't know, tarot. I haven't specifically studied tarot. It's just been based off of like my own intuitive understanding of things. So I'm definitely not by the books, but this opposition to Venus is really tense because Venus wants to understand, to do things the way that she's done them, and but after crossing over the South Node, it's almost like she unloaded all this baggage, and now she's kind of like a little bit more open and prepared. But it's like I just saw like a baby fawn in my head, like, you know, standing up on their legs for the first time, and it's like, whoa, like I know these things are here. And that's the thing, is Venus is second guessing Saturn right now. Venus is like, can you actually hold me? Can you actually hold me? You know, I know you're retrograde. I know you're reevaluating, you know, your beliefs and your stuff, you know, but can you hold me? And Venus and Virgo might actually just be like, I just am gonna do what I know how to do. And maybe it's like continuing to overcompensate for their insecurities. Like that's kind of Venus and Virgo is kind of like, I'm just gonna book my calendar and like find all these things and study and change my diet and change my routines. And there's nothing wrong in this. Like this opposition is just to bring attention to both, because without both we wouldn't actually really get to see each other highlighted, right? Oppositions really bring our attention to like things that are in discourse within our body, and it's like, oh shit, that's happening within me. You know, we'll see how that unfolds. So very interesting stuff happening this week. And then, yeah, that is it. And next week we got a shit ton of stuff. And, yeah. I think I did it. I think I did it within the time, just under an hour. Questions, comments, concerns for me. Just a quick recap, by the way. So on Monday, October 6th, Mercury is moving into Scorpio. We have a full moon in Aries happening later in that evening. I have a full video on YouTube about it. On Tuesday, the 7th, Mercury's going to officially square Pluto. We'll be feeling this coming on. Wednesday, the 8th, Venus is going to sextile Jupiter. And then Saturday, the 11th, Venus is going to oppose Saturn.